Hi everyone, this video covers the first boss rush stage in the Final Fantasy Opera global version of the game. And in this video, I'll be giving a very quick overview about the boss rush and provide you some tips on how to best prepare. Because as with all Lufenia stage, and in fact all upcoming boss rushes, the key to victory is actually understanding the mechanics behind the fight and preparing the right party members to counter the Lufenia mechanics in the stages. Whether or not the fight becomes challenging or significantly easier really depends on your party composition and being aware of the various mechanics throughout the stage. So I'll first give a quick overview on the 3 waves before going into the recommended party setup. First of all, the fight consists of 3 waves. The first wave is a prominent boss with 2 bomb minions. Second wave are a pair of white killings, and the third wave is a single monster comprising of the flawless boss, which is a Bahamut type boss. There are some things to take note throughout the 3 waves. So firstly, on wave 1, Wave 1 consists of very frequent HP attacks. In particular, the bomb minions have a very high tendency to use Launch even if they are at 0 Brave. And in this fight, Launch is actually a combination of a Brave battery into Brave hit into HP attack. So it can deal about 8 to 10,000 HP damage per hit, depending on who you have in your party. On wave 2, the white Chilean is notable for surrounding themselves in gusts of air, and you can actually visually see that. When they do, they actually follow up their attack with an immediate AoE party brave into party HP attack, which can also hurt a lot, again depending on who you have in your party. Notably, wave 2 also has a Lufenia orb, which appears when the white Chileans are below 50% health, and you need to actually launch the white killings in order to increase the orb counter on wave 2. Wave 3 is actually the easiest wave in this boss rush stage, mainly because wave 3 is only a single monster. So the flawless does have some deadly attacks, but because it's only a single boss wave, most people will just delay the boss to oblivion, so hence you won't actually see many, if any at all, of attacks on wave 3. There are 2 things to take note on wave 3. First of all, when you first deplete the flawless boss's HP to 0, it will automatically use Curaga and heal itself to 100% health again, and it will also use a brave AoE attack on your party, while also batterying itself to around 90,000 brave. It's very important that when it uses its AoE brave attack, that it does not break your entire party. Otherwise, it will get an immediate turn, and because it has battery itself for 90,000 brave, it will deal a 90,000 HP attack to a single party member. So at most, you need to have at least one party member who does not get broken from its automatic party-wide brave attack. Secondly, on wave 3, it also has a Lufenia orb. It first appears when the flawless reaches 49% health, and once after it uses Curaga, it will reappear again once it reaches 59% health or below. It is possible, however, to just brute force your way through the Lufenia orb. Normally, you need to use dark type damage to increase the orb counter, but because the flawless boss doesn't actually have a lot of HP, it is possible to just kill it off before the orb ticks down to 0. Coming to the actual setup, the key here on the difficulty really depends on how many synergy characters you have built up. Because in the boss rush stage, the synergy characters are actually so-called super synergy, in the sense that if you include one synergy character in your party, the other 2 party members will also gain synergy boost, regardless of whether or not they happen to be synergy characters. The synergy boost is actually quite important. It increases all stats by 30%, which is a huge difference in the fight. There are 5 synergy characters overall, and they are shown on the bottom left hand side of the screen. So you have Firion, Xdev, Dark Knight Cecil, Leon, and Kain. Personally, if you have at least 2 synergy characters built up, you are set because they make the fight significantly easier, and the idea is that you just include 1 per party. Now the fight does allow you to bring up to 4 parties to complete, but in order to gain all limited time rewards, including the high armor tokens, you actually need to complete all mission objectives using up to only 2 parties. So I will be covering the strategy behind a 2-party setup in order to obtain all mission rewards. So coming back to the synergy characters, again, you should try to include 1 synergy character per party, and it really depends on who you have built up. If you happen to only have 1 synergy character out of the 5 built up, my recommendation is to include that character in party 1, mainly because party 2 will mainly be focusing on wave 3, and wave 3, as I said earlier, is the easiest wave among all 3. Wave 1 and 2, you will be taking quite a lot of HP damage, so having a synergy character there helps significantly. Also, depending on of the 5 who you have built up, they do excel at different parts of the fight. So for example, Firion and Leon, in my opinion, are better suited on party 1 if you have them built up. Mainly because, for one thing, Firion can heal, so he helps a lot on the HP damage on the first 2 waves. Leon, for the same reason also, he will allow your party to absorb every attack on wave 2. You will still get some HP damage, but it's going to be only about 5,000 per hit, which is very easily tankable with Leon. On wave 1, although most of the attacks are fire elemental, having Leon does still make a difference because you can absorb the brave portion of the launch HP attack. Dark Knight Cecil, my recommendation if you have him built up is to include him on party 2. He makes very quick work of the flawless boss because he can actually delay with his LD, and because it's only a single boss wave, his Valiant Blow launches typically will lead to 2 characters launching, following up right after. So Dark Knight Cecil is better suited on party 2. Kain and Xdev I think are more flexible, although I actually think Xdev is maybe a little bit better suited on party 1, also because he has a little bit of HP damage mitigation built into his kit. And I think Kain is better suited on party 2 because he also still incorporates launch in his kit. If you only have 1 synergy character built up, you should include that in party 1, as I mentioned. Now beyond that, who should you include as your other 2 party members per in party 1 and 2? So in party 1, you will benefit a lot from having some form of damage mitigation, and by far the best character to bring for that role would be Gladiolus. And the reason for that is Gladiolus also incorporates counter attacks to his kit, which provides a lot of off-turn damage, and it helps because the fight has a relatively tight turn count. If you have Gao pairs very well with Firion and Gladiolus as well, and you will then have a lot of counter attacks built into party 1, which is great off-turn damage. Otherwise, using Vivi on party 1 also helps a lot because he has very strong AoE and splash damage, which helps on the first 2 waves. On party 2, because it's a single boss wave, it's actually better to bring launch-based characters. So examples include, of course, Dark Knight Cecil, since he is synergy. but also other characters such as Cloud or Keys makes a very big difference. Beyond that, lightning can actually significantly delay the flawless boss. In fact, lightning alone will ensure the boss never gets a turn. However, there is a drawback using lightning. Normally she incorporates a lot of free turns into her kit, but in this fight, because every single action reduces the 50 turn count, so even the free actions by lightning will cause the 50 turns to tick down per party. However, she can work if you do not happen to have any of the other launch-based characters. You can actually just use lightning and DPS down the flawless boss on wave 3. So in summary, for the party setup, first of all, you should try to set at least one super synergy per party, and my recommendation is that for party 1, Firion is the best synergy character, and Dark Knight Cecile is the best for party 2. If you happen to have burst characters, you should try to set one per party if you want to incorporate burst into your fight, because you can actually use one burst attack per party. Party 1 benefits a lot from damage mitigation, so as I mentioned earlier, Gladiolus really shines. And Party 2 benefits from a party that incorporates Dark type attacks, launch, and delays in their kit. And Dark Knight Cecile ticks all of this, hence my recommendation for him in Party 2. Last of all, just a quick summary on tips for the fight. I think the best time to pop Party 1's summon or burst attack if you have it is during the orb phase on wave 2, which is when the white Kirins reach 49% health and below. Because normally you do need to launch the white Kirins in order to increase the orb counter, and obviously if you summon during that time, you will pause the Lufenia orb, which will allow you to DPS down the white Kirins without worrying too much about the orb counter. Just a reminder to watch out for wave 3. When the boss hits 0% the first time, the flawless monster will self-heal battery and do an AoE brave attack. And you cannot let all 3 party members get broken by this attack, otherwise it will follow up immediately with a single target HP damage, which will likely kill a party member. So that's it for the fight. I will also be including recordings of various party compositions for this fight, and I will include the links in the video description when they become available, so do check them out. Till then, I wish you all the best of luck for the fight and hope that you are able to clear the fight. Good luck and see you!